Hi guys, I'm back, and today I'm about to start my journey with Waterborne paints again. So I am going to be using the ethnic set, and I did a video about that. That was my last video. So if you don't know about it, go and check that out. Also, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you can see when I do more videos. All right, so what I have here today is the Anna Sculpt from Bountiful Baby, and I have already given her her bath, so she's been cleaned and she's totally and completely dry. You always got fluff on her. You always want to make sure that your kit is all the way dry before you start. You also want to make sure that no fluff or dust gets on it, because sometimes when it sits overnight, that will happen. So just make sure you brush that off and then you can get started. So this afternoon, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying the clear base primer. Now, before, this was called a clear base coat, I believe. But now it's called a clear base primer. And we are to shake it well and use it straight from the bottle. That's also a little bit different from my previous video where I added water to that. This primer requires you just to add it straight from the bottle and apply it with a smooth sponge, just like we did in the previous video. So I'm going to put a little bit in here and just see what we got going on here. Okay, so I'm squeezing it and it doesn't look like it's coming out. Maybe I was supposed to cut that top off. Okay, we'll do that later. But now I will just put a little bit in here. Long as it gets into the well, that's the important thing. I'll start with just a little bit because I don't know what's going to happen here. We're going to find out together. That's why it's such a beautiful journey. Okay, so I put a little bit in, just like that. Now, it says to apply it with a sponge, but if I remember correctly, the last time I realized that it was easier if I did her creases and then just dragged it from that point. So I'm going to try that again. Make sure that you guys can see. I'm just putting it in the creases already. I can tell that it's kind of on the thick side. So I'm going to use it very sparingly. Get in her ears. And according to the directions, you can paint right after this is dry, but I am not in a big hurry or a rush, so I will more than likely set her aside and start painting her tomorrow. So I'm going to put this on here like that, a little bit on here. It's also a different color than it was before. I believe the last time it was more white. This has a little pink tint to it. And I'm going to just make sure that I do the one side of her face first, just like that. Do one side at a time. That way I make sure that it's getting on there evenly distributed, all on her face. This also has a small sheen. It's not as much as a sheen as the other one had on it. I noticed that right off. But it's going on there smoothly, which is good. And actually, it looks like the sheen is disappearing here. We're just gonna rub that all in her face. Just like that. Make sure we don't leave any in her creases. Get in there and scoop that out with your sponge. Get under the chin, in her ears and back of the ears, just like that. All right. Now for the back of the head, because it's smooth and the top of the head, I think I will just rub that on there. And let's see how that works doing that. So I started from here, I'm going back. Going back, just like that. All right, we need a little more. I'm not sure how I like using this right out of the bottle. It looks like I'm gonna be using a lot because it's going right directly into the vinyl, so I'm not sure. We're gonna find out if I like this one as much as I like the other base coat prep that I used before. All right. So it's all in there. I did it all over her face. Let's get this clean sponge and try to get some of that extra out of her eyes, because we don't want to leave anything behind. We definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so her face is all done and her head is all done, and I'm going to leave that sit just like that. Now I'm going to do her leg, and I will do one leg and one arm and then come back when they're all finished on the next video. All right, let's get these toes and the creases. We're going to get under the feet, on the sole of the foot there. Let's get this crease here. I might actually try something with another kit. We're going to see what happens. All right, we're going to put some primer on the sponge, and then we're going to wipe it on up one side of the leg, just like that. We're getting the base primer from the toes and using it on the foot here. And we're going to come up to the front of the knee, just like that, still on one side. So I want to make sure that I get this side done properly and make sure I cover all the area on one side. Then I'm going to get the bottom of the foot here, making sure that I get all of the primer from under the toes to get on that foot. Making sure that I get in back of this heel here and up the back of the leg. All right, let's flip this leg over and get the other side done. We'll add a little more primer to our sponge, and we will come up the side of the leg, just like that. It's going on nicely. There is a small sheen, but it appears that the shine is going away once it's dry. It's not as shiny, I should say. Get in those creases. Make sure that we get it all in. All right. There's some here. Get in between those little toes. Flip it over on the other side. Make sure we got this side of the foot here. And there's that little leg all done. I chose this kit because I thought her facial expression was so cute. And she's a preemie kit, so I figure that would be easy to do because I wouldn't have to paint so much, and I would be able to use the paints again to do more babies if I use a smaller kit. All right, so there's that little leg. I'm gonna stick this over here on my drying rack, and then we're gonna do this little hand and arm. All right, looks like we're gonna run out of that, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more, and then I will snip that top off another time. Okay, so again, we're going to get in these creases just like we did with the leg and the head. We're doing the same thing, just a little bit in there, just so we make sure we get those creases done well. And we will also be able to drag that primer down the arm and on the hand so that we can still use it. All right, now we're going to put some on our sponge. This is a cosmetic wedge. You can get them from your beauty supply places. Walmart has them. Not very, or you can order them offline from Amazon or eBay or whatever. It's not hard to find. All right, I'm going up the back of the arm here. Then I'm going to go up this side here, dragging that primer, making sure that I cover the whole piece. Now I'm going to make sure that I get under these creases in her hand and in between her fingers. Just like that. I'm really excited to be trying this set out. I've always wanted to do more of an ethnic baby, a darker complected baby. So hopefully we will be able to achieve that using these paints. And I'm so thankful that I was chosen to be a part of this research and development team about these paints. All right, now I'm just making sure that I got all of that between her fingers because I don't want to leave any behind. We never want to leave things caked in our creases because it might cause problems later on and we won't be able to go back and fix it. All right, and there's that little hand. Okay, so I've done the head and each of her limbs. Now I'm going to go off camera, finish these other 2 little limbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.